Hey guys, Master Phoenix here, coming at you with a Gurguite deck profile. So first off, I'll apologize to a certain individual who's been waiting on this video for, I think, about a week now. I really am sorry. I've been trying my hardest to find game footage, but I couldn't. I figured just get it out now. This is a very unique build. It's a very unique take on Gurguite that I don't think anybody else has used. I'll go ahead and run down some of the benefits of this deck that you'll get. That way you'll be able to tell whether you want to watch more because you're interested, or you can click away if this doesn't have what you want. Some of the strengths is this deck countercharges a lot, and also this deck has heavy utility for activating the G4 Gurguite ability multiple times per game. You can pretty much do it at least once with all. You can pretty much do it with all 4 copies. Because of how easy I made this to access. And again, that's because of a certain few changes that makes my build special from other people's. Not from an arrogant standpoint, but from a point that, and I would address this throughout the video, that I don't net deck, and that I actually put in the hours of research. Anyway, let's get straight into it. Again, it's a Gurguite deck profile by me. Hope you like the wallpaper for the thing I was able to find. Anyway, first off, we have 21 grade zeros. And yes, don't worry, I customized every single paper so that page, that way it's not completely horrible. That way each slide looks decent. Of course, you have your main 17 layout, your 16 triggers plus your starter, but there's also another 4 copies of a tech card that I like to use. So, anyway, let's get into it. The starter is Bashkal. Let's actually take it out of slide mode, just that way I can show you guys the notes. To me, Bashkal is a much better starter than Koho. In fact, it requires superior calling multiple times throughout the turn. Keep in mind, you only get a main phase 1. This isn't Yu-Gi-Oh! You don't get a battle phase and then main phase 2. You just get a ride, main, battle, and phase. So I was always wondering why so many people used Koho, since it requires superior calls, and it's gotta wait for GB1, which is slow. Because if you're playing Cogs or Narukami, it's gonna die before you get to use it. Also, this is pretty much a free cost for Bash, and it gets a ton of extra pressure against a 10k card, since it gives a 5k increase, and they'd have to guard with a 10 because a 5 against a 5 would just tie it in, and the attack would still go through. And could potentially win games if they can't afford the guard. I guess maybe he's a decent second, but anyway. This is supporting the fact that I will make multiple times throughout the video. I find that this is just net decking. Everybody's builds are the same, have the same starter. I mean, I clicked on the first 5 different videos, and all of them have the same starter, and it's ridiculous. Ridiculous. This completely just proves that I'm the only one who actually goes through all the cards of every client, and I prove this to a certain individual. I go through every card of every grade of every clan anytime I'm making the deck, just so that I get that kind of accuracy. This card came out in the latest set, which is why it's so good. Anyway, it just proves that everybody's net decking from each other without actually putting effort into it, as to where this took me a week of making it, then an extra week just putting it off so I could have a perfect timing for it. And then you get the Clairvoyance equivalent of an OTT deck for a free draw and a 5k bonus, of course. So anyway, oh, sorry, wrong thing. So, basically what this card does is, it has Forerunner, and then, when you put it into, you can put it into your soul at any time. You can do this, if you wanted to, you could do this right after you ride your Vanguard, first Vanguard. And then, you choose any normal unit from your hand and discard it. People get confused about that. That means that pretty much any unit. There's trigger units and there are normal units. A normal unit is any unit besides your trigger unit. So, any card that isn't a trigger, which why would you discard a trigger since they're, if not in your hand, they're on the field, because that's the only time to use them for how good they are. Then you get to look at the top card of your deck and put it, and then you get to choose whether you put it on the top or the bottom of the deck. So again, so it is kind of like, it's kind of like Oracle Think Tank, because they always manipulate the positioning of the cards, whether they're sending it to the top or sending it to the bottom. So, the way I like to use this is if it's a bad card, like if it's not a trigger, or if it's a grade 3, or if it isn't a stride fodder, you can shove it down at the bottom and never have to draw into it. But if it is a Gorbadoc, or if it is a card that you're wanting, you can put it on, or if it's a trigger, you can keep it on the top of the deck, and then you get to draw a card, meaning you get to draw that card. So if you don't like it, throw it at the bottom, but if you like it, keep it on the top, that way you just draw into it. And then if the number of face-up cards in your G-Zone is 1 or more, you get that Sabreeze effect, slash Screw effect. You get to choose one of your units and it gains 5k. So, it benefits even more off Gin Break 1, but it has an option to get its use before then. And it's not like a bad effect that's going to waste, like with Jewel Knight Tiffany. You actually get a great effect regardless of whether you get it in GB1 or just anytime. And it gets better with GB1, so personally I keep it there unless you're fighting Kagano or Kami. Then I just shove it in pretty much as soon as possible. For your triggers, you have, you'll notice this is very organized. You have 16 triggers. Of course, you got your 4 crit triggers, Scarface Lion. Of course, because, I mean, it's obvious why we use him. I mean, it should be obvious why we use him. I mean, anyway, this card's effect is you put it into your soul, and when your Vanguard attacks, if you have, so basically when your G3 or G4 Gurguite attacks, you can put it in the soul, draw a card, and give it 5k power. Which again, you get more cards in your hand, so it's kind of like OTT. Another 5k, which on top of another 5 from Bash, another 5 from the boost, and another 5 from him. That's going to be immense power. Originally, I was running 8 crits just because the extra guaranteed damage is much better than the non-guaranteed onboard stand, but I figured that it's okay to drop the onboard pressure for what we got at the end result of this. Going on to stand triggers, we have 8. 4 Gigantech Ringer, not Gigantic, Gigantech Ringer. From rear guard, he's a GB1. Put him on the top of the deck, and then whenever you superior call a unit, you can shuffle the deck, and then put him on top of the deck. So say you get your Gurguite Stride skill, you get your superior call, then you put him on the top of the deck. Shuffle your deck, draw a card, and again, the unit that was superior called gains 5k power, so even more power, which is insane. And then, for player of the Holy Pipe, Jerry, this one is Unite, meaning you have to have had called 2 units out on the battlefield this turn, which is really easy with the way I have it set up. And if you are at Unite, it's a 7k booster, so that's amazing. And at the end of the battle, when this unit attacked or boosted, so even if it has to attack alone, that's okay, which it probably should never have to, but even just boosting, you get to put it into your soul and countercharge 1. So you're building up soul, and you're countercharging, which is great. Then of course, now again, originally I had it 8 critical with Lion and Flame of Victory, and then the heal and then the heal trigger and Gigantic Ringer. But then I looked through the rest of the cards, and this is better than Flame, since Flame it's 4k, but you'd have to put it in the soul to give it 3. But this goes in the soul, so it's the same efficiency. You get the counter charge, so it's better, and you can use it for the turn of boosting anyway, so it's still 7k booster anyway, without having to particularly go -1 until it wouldn't matter if you did anyway. So with the 2-sided win, I just, I don't want to sound like T-Mobile here, but I mean, you got 3 wins. You got your counter charge. You get your efficiency by not having to go -1, and you still get the boost out of him. So if you'll excuse me while I go into mini sponsor mode. Now featuring the triple win on T-Mobile Wireless. Here's the 3 wins. Here's why to sign up. You get 3 wins. You get to have 3k when he unites, making him a 7k booster. There's your first one. Also, he doesn't go -1 and mess up your field planning. There's your second one. And your third one, he gets to give you a counter charge and build up soul. That's your third one. With the triple win plan. Now get it for a limited time offer through PayPal for $59.99. Or, whatever the actual price of this card is. So anyway, now that mini sponsorship, total not a sponsor whatsoever, is over. Yeah, I just prefer them. And then you can run either the unflip stand or the unflip, so either run the countercharge stand or the countercharge sentinel, because I guess, why not equality? Yeah, I really am sorry, Prince King, but, this is much better than the critical. I mean, it is, since you get unflips. But, I promise, I'm doing, it's why it's coming out so late. I did extensive testing for you. Heal triggers, Curable Angel. I hate running the same cards everybody else does, but there's only one reason I chose this card specifically. I'm an upfront, honest person. I went through all the heals, and I chose this one card particularly. Because, yeah, nothing. There's no reason. No, totally. No, just, randomly picked heal. Yeah, randomly picked, heal. Yep, just totally random heal. Anyway, don't forget to, of course, drop it for a G-Guard. Moving on to the unit that makes it special. I furthermore prove that everybody's in that decking, because they always say, oh dude, you're barely gonna go into Gurguite G4 skill. It's hard enough, but also, you're never gonna have the soul for it for more than once or twice. Well, how would that produce a net decking? Because they ain't never heard of a card called Kungal. If you don't know what Kungal is, it's one of the many old version cards that go to soul as soon as it hits drop zone. Guard with it, straight to soul. Boom. Which, of course, I don't need to tell you helps build soul. it builds soul, meaning you can use all 4 copies, all four effects. You can use the effect of Gurguite G4 every single time that you go into them. It really isn't often I include extra G4s, but it is an amazing addition since, again, it builds soul. And it's definitely unique since I've never seen someone do it because, again, all net decking, so they would look past obvious. Anyway, it really does help out Gurguite, and then, again, as mentioned earlier, proving net decking. And it also helps out with Generation Break, too, because, here's kind of the very easy tactic I go about it, alright? I don't think anybody else has realized this, but Generation Break 2 is so easy to acquire. Like, it's not even hard. All I gotta do is, and I use, I'm sorry, Prince King, I had to use this against you, but, yeah, I even used this strategy against him once. All you gotta do is, even if you don't have to do it, go ahead and G-assist anyway, because part of that cost, once you get the hit, is flipping over 2 G units, which is good, because that means that, boom, you have your 2 units, and it's not like you're missing out on a grade unless you don't get one, but that won't happen with this deck, because of how even I made it. Anyway. Sorry. Whew, that's awesome. Gotta love those granola bars. Anyway. We have 12 grade 1s. For Stride Fodder / Pitch to Stride, we got Gorbaduck, the Dawning Knight Gorbaduck. Not only is he amazing as a Stride enabler, but say you don't want to use him for that, say you're not into your Stride phase yet, that's okay. Because he's also got that Herald ability, man. And you just have to search out for the Master Unit, because he's the Herald unit, and then you got the Master Unit Gurguite, meaning that that's the alternate use for this guy, searching him out. And you can just search the wiki or ask a professional player if you don't know. I'm kidding. I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell. The reason that this guy's great to put in the deck other than Stride Fodder is that he also allows you to search out for Gurguite, your entire deck, add it to hand by revealing another grade 3 that you have. And then you just get your Gurguite, and then reveal it to opponent, add it to hand, shuffle deck, and then you just gotta choose a card from hand and discard it. But still, you should have no problem with that because you can just discard the grade 3 if you don't want it, or another card you don't want. Anyway, next up we have 4 Jeffrey. I'm thinking about cutting the amount of Jeffreys we have down a bit, but for now we're running 4. What we'll do with him is, he has the Unite skill, which again is super easy to acquire. Well, GB2 is super easy to acquire, and so is Unite. I'll get into that a bit later. You'll put him in the soul, and at the end of the battle he boosted, he just goes into the soul and you draw. Amazing. You really are rivaling the OTT with this draw power engine. As for the perfect guards, again, here is where my deck is super unique. I do not, in fact, run Candace for 2 main reasons. A, I think it's just the cheapest thing ever to use Gurguite's skill, which you shouldn't be able to choose cards to defend from your deck on your opponent's attack, but apparently you can. I do not run Candace because I think it's cheap searching through your grade 4s, and then boom, Candace, wait, it doesn't have to be from hand. Superior guard, superior perfect guard, I find that too dumb. Plus, the card I'm using is better, and I'm not gonna lie, we're pretty mean with this deck later on in the game, so we'll get to that later. Anyway, I use 4 copies of Holy Mage, Vaidori, and he's the PGG. You take It starts off simple. Take a card from hand, discard it. Your Vanguard can't be hit. Note that it's not a normal perfect guard. You cannot use this to defend a rear guard, but you really wouldn't do that anyway, so it doesn't matter. And also, if you have another copy of him in the drop zone, you countercharge, which is great because, again, you really need countercharging, which is, again, a fancy way of saying unflip X amount of damage, where X is usually 1. I might consider 2 of each, but probably not. I think this card's fine I think this is fine where it's at. Going into our grade 2s, we have a total of 9 grade 2s. We have 3 copies of Knight of Springs Light Parrymore. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm gonna just go ahead and say it. I'm just gonna get this off my chest. In Bloodborne, the main way you, well, not Bloodborne specifically, but in all the generic Blood Souls, Soulsborne, whatever you want to call it, titles, the main way to cheese a boss is by parrying. So if you want to get good, that's G-I-T-G-U-D, you gotta parry more. See what I did? Like parry more? Like parry more often? Like, no, okay. Got it, not funny. Anyway, just from being united, he gets an extra 2k, so he's a 11k hitter. And then Generation Break 1, Counterblast 1, which is, again, super easy. When it's priced on the rearguard circle, which can be from hand. It can be from hand. It doesn't say from deck. It says just when it's priced on the rearguard. You may pay the cost. If you do, look at 3 cards from the top of the deck. Search up from among them, call it to rearguard. In the same column as this unit, and put the rest on the bottom of your deck in any order. Do not shuffle. Do not shuffle this guy's skill. I want to verify that. If you were to shuffle, it would tell you. We run more copies of Holy Mage in this card since it's better in my opinion. Plus, again, it's conserving room. But it's still a great combo chain if called through Holy Mage's effect. Or, it's just straight up from when you call it. So, this guy could even start/finish the chain for you. But by the time this guy comes out, you should have Unite activated anyway, so that's why we do that. Again, this is probably susceptible to a few changes later on, but we'll get to that later again. So, yeah. For Holy Mage Pill. Powell. We're calling him Powell. Counterblast 1, Generation Break 1, when this unit attacks a Vanguard. If it's boosted, look at 3 cards from the top of the deck, search one among them, call it to rearguard, shuffle your deck. Simple. And then finally to Marcia. I really don't care for this card. I think it's garbage, but end of the day, we had to find extra room. And again, this will be one of the cards I change, but it does have the Unite ability, and you can put it into your soul, and at the end of a turn, that you put this card into your soul. At the end of each turn, by paying this cost, you can countercharge 1. So again, more countercharge, and it has resist, so cogs and Narakamis can't blow it up. Now we have 8 grade 3s. Of course, 4 Gurguite. It's got the aforementioned GB2, Counterblast 1, Soul Blast 1 skill. For defense, it's defensive mechanism. But again, it's not impossible to use. You can combine original Gurguite and the G4 Gurguite skills because of the Kungal running. And then, basically, it's Counterblast, Soul Blast, Uno, and then at the beginning of the guard step that this unit's attacked, the Vanguard has to be attacked. Look at 4 cards from the top of the deck, search up from one of them, put it on rear guard, put it on Guardian Circle's Rest, shuffle deck. And then most people use this to be cheap with Candace, but not me. And then, of course, its stride skill is Counterblast 1. When it strides, you can look at 4 cards from the top of your deck, search for one, put it on rear guard, shuffle your deck, give it 2k until end of turn. This guy is what makes Unite so easy, because this guy's stride skill, you'll call this guy, and this guy calls something else. Or, you can do what we're about to get into later. Anyway, 4 copies of Dongle to finish it off, because Generation Break 1 and Unite, and it gets the ability to intercept, and when it does intercept, it gets 5k shield until end of battle. Or, when it's placed on rear guard, it gets boost until end of turn. Now, I'm going to say this very, very simply. Not even gonna lie, this guy is just downright stupid. Horrible excuse for running guard. No grade 3 should be able to intercept and boost. And definitely to the moon and back shouldn't be able to do both. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm done ranting. Now, as for the stride zone, we have 12 stride units. 1 Air Element Sea Breeze, just because we obviously only need a single copy of this card. You're not going to go into it more than once. In fact, I don't think we'll even go into it once a game, but I don't know. Me personally, I hate the idea of punishing someone who's grade locked, because, well, I guess that is to say it's a Vanguard equivalent of kicking a player when they're already down. And in most cases, they've already probably lost the game because they didn't get that ride, but some of us just tend to be more cruel in children's card games, which is embarrassing because, I mean, populace of this game is a bunch of high schoolers and grads. Anyways, rather than real life, I'm looking at you, Prince King. Yeah, we had a nice conversation about this. I'm like, you know, I don't think we should put this in here. It seems like kind of mean. It just kind of seems mean to me to punish someone who's already grade locked. Like, they already lose. He's like, no, man, put it in. Come on, put it in. And I'm like, I don't know. And he's like, put it in. Or I'll kill your family. No, I'm kidding. But, yeah. So, Prince King. I'm going, yeah, it's all his fault. Go hate on him, not me. His fault. Wasn't me. Next up, 1 copy of Campbell. I feel so bad doing this. I know most people want him at 2. But I feel it's agreeable that he's at 1, because your opponent will at least have to let 1 of your stride units attacks go through generically, because I doubt they're gonna let I doubt they'll use their hand to guard every single attack you make with every single unit that is Vanguard. But even if they do, that's less cards for them to guard with, so good on you. But anyway, this guy should be your first stride, unless we're talking about Sea Breeze. But assuming you don't go into Sea Breeze, your first stride generally will be Campbell. 2 Scorch Point Dragon. I honestly have no clue how it would be effective, but this is from the POV of someone who plays Genesis Kagero only, so I guess you guys would know, but I'm not gonna lie, I have no clue why this guy is even good, but I don't know. Apparently, certain people, Prince King, think that this guy's amazing, so whatever. A single copy of Spearcross Dragon. This is very agreeable. You should only need a single copy of this card because It's just like Breeze. I put it in the deck to make sure that if you need it, you have it. But in most cases, you won't need it because you will probably have a full field anyway. And it's not like it's really a bad thing to call out half your hand getting a formation lined up, because you can easily get 3 of those cards back with Jeffries and then another Bash Skull, so it's super easy anyway. But if for some reason that you just have nothing on your field and you don't feel like calling, or you can't afford to call your entire hand out to the field, you can just use this guy's effect of Counterblast 2, and then Persona Flip, and then when it's placed on the Vanguard Circle, for each card in your G-Zone that's face up, you get to Spear Call 1 unit. In most cases, it'll probably be anywhere from 2 to 4 units, so it will fill half your field regardless, but, I don't know, I just feel, that we won't really go into them, but, just trust me. There's a lot better strides you should be using other than this guy, so trust me, my friend. Do not use this guy just for the heck of it, alright? Consider this guy, consider it as a situation. You're stuck in a room with, consider it like this situation. You're stuck in a room with me, my ego, and Kai, and then you have a gun with 2 bullets, and then you gotta shoot two of them. Which one you gotta save? Which one you're gonna have to deal with? You know, it's one of those situations. Don't ever use this card if you don't have to. Because you